So hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to look at the iPhone 12 versus the iPhone 13, and I'm sure after watching this video you will be able to pick one between both of these. Now the iPhone 12 has got a price cut and it seems really attractive right now. In the design element there is not much difference between both these phones except that the camera placement on the back is now diagonal. So the iPhone 13 has a diagonal camera placement and the iPhone 12 is exactly what we had seen on the iPhone 11. And before we go on to the notch, do subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon and don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And now since you have subscribed to the channel, let's get back to talking about the notch. So the notch is, it has reduced a little bit, so a 20-30% reduction there. And visually, if you put both the phones side by side, you'll be able to see a considerable difference with respect to the notch size. The earpiece has been moved a little bit onto the edge of the phone, so you can see that difference as well. There is not much use of real estate which has been done by Apple over there, so you still have the same icons which you had on the 12 as well. Apart from that, let's move on to the display now. So the display is something which is pretty much the same which you got on the iPhone 12. So you have a 6.1 inch Super XDR OLED display at 60 Hz, so it is not 120 Hz. The ProMotion display or the 120 Hz display is only there on the Pro versions, that is the iPhone 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max. So basically you have the same 1170 into 2532 pixels at a 460 ppi density on the display. The colors remain the same and you have the same peak brightness of 1200 nits with both these phones. The iPhone 13 has got a higher typical brightness of 800 nits compared to the iPhone 12 which has got 625 nits. That's the only difference. So when you go out in the sun, they both are going to be exactly the same. Now I am opening up some apps for you, so I am clearing all the RAM and opening up some apps to see what the speed is like between both these phones. So you can consider this as a speed test because everything is shut and I'm opening all the day-to-day apps, and as you can see there is not much difference between both these phones. And now let's talk about the specifications. The iPhone 13 is the A15 Bionic with a 4 GB of RAM, and the iPhone 12 on the other hand is a A14 Bionic with a 4 GB of RAM. The iPhone 13 starts at a base version of 128 GB going up to 512, and the iPhone 12 on the other hand is a 64 GB and goes up to 256. So the RAM remains the same though, so it's a 4 GB of RAM. Now all the apps are opening up on time without any problems. They are as fast. Now you might see some apps stuttering, but that's because it's on Wi-Fi, so that depends on the Wi-Fi speeds, and both phones can be different. But let me tell you that both these phones are connected to the same Wi-Fi network as well. So I'm not blaming them, but when you open up a game, the phones are pretty much neck to neck. I don't see any difference. And this was a short speed test. I will do a in-depth speed test as well. So do let me know down in the comment section if you want to see a speed test between both these phones. And now let's talk about the batteries. Now the batteries have got a significant jump this year. So when I talk about the capacity of the battery, on the iPhone 13 we are seeing a 3240 mAh battery. The iPhone 12 has a 2815 mAh battery. Both support fast charging at 20 watts with 50% in 30 minutes and MagSafe charging, which is wireless charging, at 15 watts. So that's there, but the iPhone 13 has got a standby time of almost 19 hours while the iPhone 12 is at 17 hours. So which is a considerable difference according to me. While my usage between these phones, the iPhone 12 has given me a great battery life, but the iPhone 13 is a step up, a very slight step up. And now let's talk about the cameras, which according to me, would be the major difference here. Not only the diagonal placement of the cameras, but the cameras are also different with new modes. First, let's talk about the specifications. So the iPhone 13, which is on the left, has a wide lens of 12 megapixel with a slightly larger sensor, and it has what the iPhone 12 Pro series had last time, the sensor shift OIS. Ultra wide camera, which is again a 12 megapixel, and a front camera, which is again a 12 megapixel. So it's a 12 megapixel 3 camera setup with a dual camera at the back. Now the iPhone 12 is again the same thing. So you have a 12 megapixel wide, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, slightly smaller sensors, does not have sensor shift optical image stabilization, has normal optical image stabilization, and a 12 megapixel front camera, which is probably the exact same camera which you have on the iPhone 13 as well. So with this, there are a lot of changes between both these camera setups, and those are in the modes. So let's talk about the cameras and how the photographs are. What is the exact difference? So they both zoom to a maximum of 5x, and they both have an ultra wide which is similar at 120 degrees. So you get the same exact camera setup over there in terms of the zoom and the ultra wide capability. There are two new modes which have been introduced this year, which is the cinematic mode, which is for video, and as I said in my 13 Pro Max review, that it is more of a video feature rather than an actual mode. I'm sure Apple has done a lot of processing behind it, but to a normal person, if you are into videos, then it makes sense for you. Apart from that, there is something known as photographic styles, which is engineered in the photograph and at the sensor level, so you can get good filters, if I may put it that way. So that has changed. That is not there in the 12. Apart from that, the portrait mode, everything else remains exactly the same. So those were the cameras, and I do not want to get into the depth because the clarity of the photograph would practically be the same. But do let me know if you want to see a camera comparison as well between both these phones. Now let's listen to the speakers. So both of them have a bottom firing speaker as well as a front firing speaker, and I'll keep quiet so that you can hear the phones. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to look at the most anticipated phone, according to me at least, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and let's see how well it does. Before we get into the main video, to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon and don't forget to like the video. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to look at the most anticipated phone, according to me at least, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and let's see how well it does. Before we get into the main video, to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon and don't. And it's been a couple of days. The design is pretty similar to what we had on the. Like the video. So the 13 Pro Max is out, and so those are the speakers, and I think both of them are really good. But I do find the 13 to be a little louder, but maybe that's just me, and they both really sound similar. So Apple has not done anything new in that department, at least not on paper and not in their keynote. And with that, we are at the end of the video. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Both these phones have some design changes, like the notch and the diagonal camera setup. That's probably because of the sensor shift OIS, which Apple has incorporated this year in the 13 series. Apart from that, I do not see any significant differences between both these phones in processing. There might be some challenges with respect to battery life and heavy tasks like video rendering or heavy gaming. So it will come down to a personal preference between the new camera setup, battery life and new design. So do choose wisely. And if you have any queries, write down in the comment section and I will respond to you. And as usual, thanks for watching.